In this video, I'll show you how to remove and reinstall a pair of rotor cranks. It's a little different from Shimano and SRAM, but if you follow these steps, it's not difficult. Most of what you'll need to do this service is just an 8mm Allen wrench, a Shimano cassette lock ring tool, and if it's this style, you'll probably need an adjustable wrench to go on it. And I always recommend having some grease on hand to put on the threads. And to get the left side out, you'll probably need a soft mallet like this one, either rubber or plastic will do. The first thing that you'll need to do is take an 8mm Allen wrench and remove this bolt. It could be on there pretty tight, so sometimes it's easier to put the bike on the ground, take it out of a work stand if you're using one. That way you can get some real good leverage on the 8mm Allen wrench. The next thing that you need to do is take a Shimano lock ring tool for cassettes and remove this little cap inside. And that too can be in there kind of tight. And again, you may want to put the bike on the ground as opposed to a work stand. And what this does, this is a self-extracting cap, and we're going to flip it around. So when it comes out, it's in like this. Then we're going to put the bolt back in and then put this back on top, and that allows for, again, a self-extracting cap to get the crank arm off. Now we're going to thread the bolt back in, and does not have to be that tight. As soon as it makes contact, you can stop turning the wrench. Now we're going to take the self-extracting cap again, we're turning it around from the way it was when we took it out. And just use your lock ring tool, put that back in. Again, as soon as it makes contact, you can stop turning. You don't have to do it that tight. Now we're going to take our 8mm Allen wrench again and just start loosening it counterclockwise. And that's going to back the crank arm off of the spindle. And be careful that it doesn't fall to the ground, whether you have a hand underneath or just kind of use the wrench to keep it steady. And you'll feel it come loose, and then you just pull it off. And that's how you get the right side, the drivetrain, off. One thing that I do want to mention is there is kind of a cover for your bearings, and sometimes that will stick on the actual crank arm. Sometimes it'll be on the bottom bracket bearing. So you'll want to make sure you get this and you want to clean it off because it'll have some grease on it. And for the left side, all you need to do is tap it out. So I'm going to use just a soft mallet. You can strike it. And there are times when it's in there pretty good and you may have to insert something inside to continue tapping it out. But if you've put enough grease on it, then it should be okay just to tap out. But again, sometimes you have to rock it back and forth. I'll show a quick reinstall. It's the same process, just at backwards. I already have some grease on the spindle, but make sure you put some grease on the inside of the bearings and on the spindle. So just press it in. And there is a ring on the left side. I'll show it to you. You can loosen the Allen screw with a 2mm and then use this to kind of adjust how snug it is. So I back it all the way out before I install the crank arm, and then once you get everything tightened up, then you can tighten that and just make sure the crank arm doesn't move around so it's nice and snug. So put the left arm in as far as it'll go. For the right side, make sure you do put this cover for your bearings on. I put it in first. And then we're just going to work the crank arm on. Before reinstall, make sure you pull this cap out. Just use your lock ring tool, back it out, and the bolt will come off with it. So now we're ready to put the crank arm back on. Before I put the right one on, I'm going to put the chain on the chain ring if it's appropriate for you to do that. And then make sure the left one is at the right position. This has a chain guide, so I've got to work it in there. And then just push it on with your hand, give it a good tap. And then we're going to put the bolt back in. The first thing that you want to do is put this cap back in. Make sure you put it so that the flat side faces inward towards the bike. And just start it by hand, and then we'll use the lock ring tool to tighten it. And this does not have to be extremely tight. I usually give it a good turn once I get it snug with my hand. You can use a wrench just to give it a little bit more torque, but it does not have to be that tight. I've put a little grease on the threads, as you should always do with any bolt on a bicycle. And now we're just going to tighten it down with our 8mm Allen wrench. And you will have to turn this a few times, and then you'll want to use a torque wrench to finish it up, and it goes 35 to 40 Newton meters. The last thing you want to do on the left side is just snug this cap up so that there's no movement in the crankset, and then use a 2mm Allen wrench just to tighten this little bolt. And obviously you want to make sure that you loosen that little bolt before you try to turn the lock ring on the left side.